Amazon.
I'll check it out definitely.
Anyway.
All
I'm
right.
I'm
So now
gonna
we're
check that
streaming.
out too.
Yeah.
No,
Nice.
it's over. I mean, I just wanted to show you that I was into that more than you realize.
I know
Anyway,
you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh my gosh. Enough of that. Wayne and Audsie, this mic is all yours, and I think I made you both co-hosts. So here you go.
Hey everyone, how you doing? How are you? What's happening? We're Wayne Stills, and I'm here with Audrey Whitehead, and we're gonna be doing From Anxiety to Love, a radical new approach for letting go of fear and finding a lasting peace by Corbin Zipko. It's book study Tuesday. If yesterday was book study Monday, and I'm looking forward to it. This is a great book. This is not in personal life, but of course in miracles, and it's from sort of a therapeutic point of view, I suppose you could say. And as a matter of fact, uh, she labels the inner guide, the Holy Spirit, the inner therapist. So it's which is a nice way of putting it. It kind of is a nice generic approach where anyone can kind of approach the inner God, the Christ, with no problem with the language or anything. This is approachable to anyone at any age, pretty much, if you ask me. I think we get right into it. I don't really have any special song I wanted to play. I can, but I don't have to. I think we get right into it. What do you say?
I say, okay, I'll share my screen.
Yeah, what the heck?
Right on. That sounds awesome. Here we go.
We're doing pretty well actually. We're like we're getting through this.
We're 36%.
Yeah, which isn't bad.
Yeah,
30%.
yeah. That's great.
Since
Sorry, just
we don't shut up, we're always talking so much. But I think that's yeah, yeah. We weren't
it's
supposed to,
all
I guess.
good. We can talk. It's
Right,
perfect.
right,
Okay, so we're on chapter 6 though.
right. 5 steps to handing it over. All right,
Yeah.
that's key.
Do you want to
I'll
start?
start it off and then you'll take
Yeah.
over and I'll finish up.
Go, go, go.
The ego is insidious. All right. Stop right there. It says it all.
Yep, that's it.
You put that on a shirt. The ego is insidious. Of course, miracles. Well, that's from Pope, but same thing. I'm sure if you put that in the course, something very similar would come up. If you type that into the course, into the search engine. The ego is insidious, and once it wants to come along on your spiritual journey, and will sneak in without you even realizing it, leaving you with a fake spiritual ego. Although the healing process can really occur in 3 simple steps. Find your willingness to see differently. Give your willingness to your inner therapist, and trust that it's done. I find that I often need more ways to separate myself from the ego because it hangs on so tightly. Perhaps because I hang on to it so tightly. The 5 steps in this chapter are ways of looking at the ego with our inner therapist. We need to look at it at every manner we can because the ego does not want to be examined. The ego will always shy away from the light of love. But if we see it through the eyes of love, we'll see it for what it really is. Nothing. These steps are inspired by the healing process that the Course teaches. You can use them to work through anxiety, a difficult relationship, or any other problem. They will take you. They will. They will take you through finding your willingness, recognizing your problems, and handing over what's bothering you to your inner therapist. This is all about handing over everything to the inner therapist because the inner therapist is not an inner suppression machine. We keep that in mind. I mean, it's not about taking the issue that's bothering you and treating it with your therapist and then not dealing with it. It's looking at it with your therapist, right? So then looking at it with your therapist and then seeing how nothing that you're looking at has any meaning at all because it has not been created by God. And then all the charge, all the power behind it Just that's what dissolves, and then all you're left with is form, and whatever love is left over. That's the content. Make sense? It makes sense.
It
You there?
makes sense to me. Beautiful, beautiful.
All right, these steps are inspired by the healing process that the Course teaches. You can use them to work through harder that. Let's begin with one of the most fundamental concepts: willingness. Find your willingness. Step one. We have repeated how little is asked of you to learn this course. It is the same small willingness you need to have your whole relationship transformed to joy. The little gift you offer to the Holy Spirit for which He gives you everything. There's very little on which your salvation rests. That's in the course. So you don't have to give it a mustard seed. You have a little bit of willingness. Willingness is the key to happiness. It all starts with just a bit of openness to seeing things differently from how you currently see them. Yeah, it's so hard, Audsie, to see things differently when you don't even know you're seeing how it is what kind of point of view you're trapped in. You don't even know you don't even realize you're trapped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you don't know or even have an inkling of something being different or could be different, you're really so far down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it was sometimes still, yeah, you glimpse of it sometimes. Because many of us are in the Plato's cave, just looking at the shadows, and we don't. Yeah, you can get a glimpse of, yeah. Wait a minute. If I see it that way, I can see the point of view of that person.
Yeah.
And then and then 10 minutes later, I might forget how I saw that because it was so abstract or so different than how I've been looking at things. And then we're all so trapped in a bubble. So there's a bit of openness, just a little willingness to see things differently. Especially if you're in the middle of it, if you're in the middle of fighting with somebody, it's almost impossible to stop and say, all right, I want to see things your way.
Yeah.
Just for a moment. For a moment, I want to see if I can see things your way. I don't have to even agree with you. I don't have to agree with you. I can just see things your way, just for a moment.
Yeah. Could you imagine that if you're just like people in the heat of an argument and then at least one of them steps back and just says, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. Your point of view, I can see it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I see it now. And I can see why you think that. It makes perfect sense. And I get into certain fights with my daughter, and I'll say to them, I can see why you thought that you thought this. But this is what I meant. There's always a difference between intention and the interpretation of the thing you say or do. And that's the balance in this house, at least. Between the intention, my intention, and how it's perceived.
Right, the intention.
And how it's perceived.
Yeah.
And the person thinks that that's how it's perceived, therefore that's how it should be judged. And the person with the intention is, no, my heart was in the right place. I just screwed up, or no, you're wrong. You should judge it according to the intention. And so this is always sort of a balance on and so if you can get that balance in terms, it will help you sort of see things from the other person's point of view. Or you just see things from the point of view of what I try to do is we're both wrong, we're both right. Let's see above the whole thing and check it out from above.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know when I was growing up, I had this happened for me where I would be able to see other people's side. That's why I had people come to me to talk to me about stuff.
Great.
But I never could pick one of the sides. And that always, as I grew up, it really was confusing to me because I didn't really have an opinion. And I remember being chastised sometimes for that. It's like, pick a side, Audrey.
Oh, really?
Just people around me, and it was like, well, I can't, I don't have it. Well, don't you have an opinion? It's like it was this bad thing.
Well, yeah, it's still the same way with politics today. If you say I'm an independent, I don't like either party, I don't want to vote. The people who are entrenched on either side kind of look at you as It's sort of the odd person out. They don't like you. You're even sometimes even a bigger threat to them than the person who are voting or listen or overly involved. Yeah, they prefer you be, what's the other expression? They prefer you to be lukewarm.
Yeah.
As they would put it. But that's not really what you're doing. Now you know what you're doing. So
Yeah, now I know it was, and that goes with the first line of what you read, Reb Wayne. The ego is insidious.
Yeah, right.
Insidious.
Insidious.
Insidious. Thank you.
Yeah, it's insidious. Yeah, that was just very, very sneaky.
So
Sneaky,
that's
sneaky and
what
evil.
I can see. That was what was going on.
Yeah.
It was like I was allowing to see the both sides of this both sides, but I didn't identify with either. But even that didn't give me peace because the ego just used it against me. So
Yeah.
it's like it's so interesting, isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's very
Wow.
wild. Well, it was I find it interesting is how the light and dark of the ego. It's not as if the ego gets us by saying it's right and wrong, it's good and bad, that whole thing about the duality. But there's nothing wrong with darkness. It's just not there. There's nothing wrong with the way you see things. In other words, the ego's not wrong. The ego's right in the context of what he says that you should be doing. You see what I'm saying? Neil's not is wrong. It's like he sees way he sees things.
Yeah.
And he has the eyesight he has. Our eyesight doesn't see things wrong. It sees things the way the eyes are built for it to see.
Mm.
So if you get closer to the sun, the eyes of the sun will get bigger. We just don't see the whole package. We don't see the whole story.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot more to be seen out there. So we have that should be the first step in seeing things differently. So there's so much more complicated, and complicated from our point of view. It's actually much more simple in the end, from the point of view of God, that it's all just one. But the one doesn't mean it's all one opinion, it's all one way of thinking, one way. People get confused with that. It's from our perspective, our little individuality perspective, it's all very complicated. And as my thing says, turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream.
I love that.
John Lennon said that.
Perfect.
So, you want to read?
Okay. So I'll just start that paragraph over. Willingness is the key to happiness. It all starts with just a bit of openness to seeing things differently from how you currently see them. When we are still strongly identified with our ego personalities, we want to make things hard. So we think we have to make enormous efforts in order to change. But cascades of miracles can happen just from a tiny bit of willingness. Your inner therapist takes care of the rest. Isn't that awesome?
There is.
Just a little bit of willingness and the rest is taken care of. I don't even do anything.
Absolutely.
You don't do anything.
All we have to do is plant the seed.
Yes.
And God takes care of making it grow.
I don't even have to water it or
No.
I do put shit on it, but
Water will just mean kind of like, just praying on it or something like that. That's watering. God takes care of the actual growth that's growing on it, of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to work on it, working for it. God will take care of it all.
That's awesome, eh?
Yeah. The Holy Spirit will take care of it, the therapist.
Although we might not at first be ready to receive the gifts that are already ours. Oh my goodness, that's so true. They will be there when we are ready for them. I gotta tell you this. So we live in a community that where there's a man-made lake. And this lake, you can't boat on it, but the residents here can use it and you can paddle board and use the beach area and yada yada. But
Right.
Our Alberta Health Services has just closed it due to a high level of fecal matter because the birds have gotten out of hand since like over the years. So there's a AGM meeting coming up, and I guess a lot of the board members are leaving. So it's interesting because there's now these problems with the lake, which I guess the residents are saying that couldn't just be from some poop overnight. This has got to be a big issue because people have noticed that the lake has been dirtier and this and that.
Right.
Anyway, longer story short, I friend somebody and they friend me back, and we get in a conversation because I was going to ask her to be my proxy. And, you know, I don't usually say things like I know it was led, the whole thing, because I had said to her, she said, do you think we should get together beforehand and talk about what's going on? She said, I don't know what to expect at this meeting. And I replied with, I don't know either. Like, I'm actually a little bit, I kind of want to just read what I said because I said, I said, sorry. I said, I don't know, but I'm a little bit nervous as it is. I've been a recluse for some time, and I'm kind of afraid to leave the house. And she said back to me, well, perhaps we can see how it goes online over the next couple weeks first. I hear you. I barely leave the house these days. I do go out though. And if it is too much for you, I can be your proxy for sure. If you decide to go, I will happily be your friend, support while there.
Okay,
So how beautiful. When I read that, I got tears in my eyes because what happened was exactly what she's saying here. Although we might not at first be ready to receive the gifts, what happened was inside me touched this point of, my God, that would be something I would write to somebody else that was in need. But to read it for this self, it really then we furthered on. I told her, wow, that made me teary. And I thought it was beautiful. I felt good about humanity again. It gave me this spark of, hey, the love is still there to see. So this just happened yesterday, and now I see how I'm receiving. I gotta receive the gifts because I haven't done that. So this is exciting. I'm excited, Red Wayne. Excited.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So you just read on.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's all. Yeah. You should be. Go ahead.
Okay. So although we might not be ready, they will be there when we are ready for them.
And then what's cool about that is that, you know, we're not ready. It just means it's like when you feel pressure and stress, that's us trying to take in more than we can receive. So it's essentially that anytime you feel tension, instead of seeing that as blockage of us or tension as some sort of inner conflict, it's just you your soul trying to take in more than you're willing to accept in your life. It's kind of like when you're eating too much cheesecake, you react with I like the joy, I like the love, but too much sugar.
Right.
You know, so everything has its down point in this world. You try to take in too much, and then you react to the some people can eat all ice cream that they want. Right, and then my grandfather ate ice cream for 50 straight years. All he gave was a big tummy. and into his 80s. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because some people have different souls of desire, so they bring in the joy of God, the pleasure of God, the light of God.
Mhm.
And so whenever I get stressed out, I realize that I'm just trying to, I'm not, I'm trying to bring in more than I'm willing to bring into my soul, to my vessel, to my soul, which is basically a big magnet.
Yeah, big
So
man.
then the stress goes away because I welcome it. I know that because then once the stress goes away, then I know that I welcome whatever it is I'm trying, whatever vibe I'm trying to work with myself, I can now welcome it. Because stress is not nervous stress. Anxiety is now just me having too much God in me. And that's sort of what I'm trying to say. There's too much God in me. And so all I have to do is sort of welcome it and welcome, meditate. And then the God, and then I'll be in the flow.
Oh.
I'll be there when, although we might not be first ready to receive it. All right, so go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is my willingness and how do I find it? The process is simple. Ask yourself, am I willing to see this differently? That's it. Am I willing to see this differently? If the answer is yes, you've found your willingness.
It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah, saying no is also it's just helpful because sometimes you see why you're saying no. I've asked that and I've said I've heard no, so I say it and then I feel myself holding on. You know,
Right.
it's real. Oh, that's why I said no because I feel like a child holding on to the blanket. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then I ask myself again, and yes came in much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ask yourself yes or no. It's the honesty that's important, I think. I heard somebody say, just stay away from maybe.
Ah, good one. Stay away from maybe. Yes
Yeah.
or no. That's like Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, exactly.
That's no maybes.
Yeah,
Yes or no.
just stay away from maybe. All right, so go ahead, go often.
Often, though, if we are open and honest with ourselves, we might acknowledge that we are not willing to let go of a grudge, to see something differently, or to let something go. We are stuck in our way of seeing things and have put up a block to truth and peace. We want it our way, damn it. If we pay attention, we may notice our peace fading away with that obstinate choice.
I'd rather be right than be at peace.
That's it.
I'd rather be right. I want to be right. I want to be right. I want to be right.
If I recognize that I really don't want to see something differently, that is, I'd rather be right than happy. That's text chapter 29. There is a process that helps me find my willingness, however removed from the present it may be. So I ask myself, am I willing to be willing to see this differently?
That's good. You can go on with that all day.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Am I willing to be willing to be willing?
Right, hey? It's a little tricky.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Excuse me, I just took a drink. When you can answer this affirmatively, you found a tiny bit of willingness that's needed. Touch that tiny bit of willingness, then offer it to the inner therapist. When
like
you're
that, touch that tiny bit.
Touch it, yeah.
Just get a sense of it. You know, it's just a seed. Just a seed of the potential, and give it to your inner guide, your inner teacher, your inner therapist. It's cool.
Yeah, I like that. When your fear feels intense, ask yourself whether you are willing to see this situation differently. If so, you have found your willingness. And now we can meditate on willingness. Do you want to go through this, Rev Wayne?
Okay. This is a meditation to help you connect to your willingness, which is the birthplace of miracles. Use it whenever you need a shift in perception about a situation in your life. Begin by taking a few mindful breaths. Sense this breath in and this breath out. Bring your awareness to something that is currently troubling you. A conflict, a relationship, a feeling of fear. Ask yourself, am I willing to see this differently? Notice your answer. If the answer is yes, you have found your willingness. If the answer is no, ask yourself, am I willing to see this differently? If yes, you have found your willingness. If no, repeat the question 1 or 2 more times and be patient with yourself until you find your willingness. Hold your feeling of willingness in your awareness. Notice if you sense your willingness in a specific place in your body. Imagine a sense of opening, a clearing, a place for the shift to come in. Now that you've found a tiny bit of willingness to see you differently, imagine turning to your inner therapist, your higher mind. Offer that willingness to your inner therapist and ask for the shift in perception. Feeling your desire for that shift in perception for a miracle, say to yourself, now let a new perception come to me. If you notice hesitation or reluctance arising, look at those feelings. Perhaps you've already decided that what outcome you want. If so, find your willingness to release that outcome. Then find your willingness to see the reluctance differently as well, and offer that to your inner therapist. Resting in trust that the shift has happened, know that you'll receive the miracle the instant you are ready for it. Action step recap. When fear arises, check in with your willingness. Ask yourself, am I willing to see things differently? If the answer is yes, you've found your willingness. If it's no, ask yourself, am I willing to see things differently? When the answer is yes, there's your willingness. Mind strengthening mantras. This is a mind straightening mantras. I am willing to see things differently. I am willing to be willing. I am determined to see things differently. She doesn't say but I suppose you could also do, I'm determined to be determined to see things differently, I guess as well. What are the journal prompts? What am I what am I willing to look at with my inner therapist? What am I not willing to look at with my inner therapist? Why? These are great questions. Where am I attached? Where am I attached to an outcome? And am I willing to release the outcome? If not, why not? These are good questions. You want to read some too?
Should we just move on now, or?
Yeah,
I think we all get that, really, eh? Yeah.
I mean, I think unless you wanted to talk about anything, it was pretty clear, I think.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh, sure. Take your time.
So, this whole talk of what am I willing, and asking yourself about your willingness, and keep asking until you are actually willing.
Right.
The question is always, what is making me not be willing? Because, if I think that I'm somehow responsible for something that's going to happen, then I'm going to probably be afraid and not willing to see it different. I'm thinking in terms of like my kids, situations that they get into that, I would really, excuse me, I get very nervous and upset about, financial and, just sickness and different things. And, that my biggest fear, is that I'm not willing to see it differently because I think that I can do something about it.
Exactly.
And that's where you have to look at your willingness. Do I really think that I can do something about it? Or is it something that only God can do something about, and I could just not worry myself with it because it's not my business?
Can you learn to stop controlling other people's experience? That's what I want to control my kids' experience, basically, because then I can feel comfortable with my day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what he's experiencing, so I know what she's experiencing, so I'm good. You know, and that's what you're saying, Lynn, right? If you know what's going, you set your kids up, you know what they're going to be experiencing. Now you're in control, and you're good. You know, I want people to walk. This is my script. Please be in my script. You know, please walk in my script.
Yeah.
You know, and then everything's fine. I don't really care too much about your script. Your script is different than mine, and then I get all nervous if that happens. So this is everyone's welcome. Everyone pay attention to my script only, please. That's sort of what everyone sort of does. Everyone's a hero of their own dream. You know, we're all the stars of our own dream.
Exactly. Yes. And and it's none of my business what your dream is, even
Exactly,
if you
exactly.
did come out of my body, or you know what.
Exactly. And then the thing about it is that we're very busy trying to make everyone else our co-stars. I mean, our supporting actors, instead of respecting the idea that you're a hero of your dream and I'm the hero of mine. Everyone's their own hero. But a lot of people are out there trying to make everyone that you support me, you support me, you support me. Just go out there and support others. I actually like the analogy that I am not I'm not the hero. I like to make myself the supporting the character actor or the supporting actor in the film. You know what I mean? Because then what around me are the heroes.
Yeah.
This way I'm always serving people by nature, and it's not because I'm conformity or I'm weak or anything. That is just it's the job of the supporting actor to do just that, to support the lead.
Yes, and it's almost like if you're in the gaming, if you're into gaming, an NPC, a non-player character, and that's you know
Right.
when I move out of being thinking I'm the player and I'm the character, then and I move into the non-player character, I can just watch what's going on and I
Exactly.
can react in accordance with the script, and it's
Yeah.
perfect. So anyway, I'll let you guys go
There
on
you go.
with
All right,
what.
cool. Right. So, so there's anything else we want in this part here? Odds that you have
Yeah, I
please.
like what you guys are talking about. It made me think that, you know, how the world's backwards and in movies there's one leading actor. I was like, wow, we all have leading roles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We are all in a leading role because we just got to be here, show up, and open our mouths, and it's happening.
That's when one person tries to take over and they're the only leading figure. That's when we have problems.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm the only leading part here. I'm the only hero.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then you have problems. That's the ego taking over. We have to have one person in charge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn, too, for your share. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
yes, absolutely. Anyone else have anything to say? Just raise that hand.
Just butt in if
Oh,
you,
butt in, yeah, butt
yeah,
in.
yeah, we don't, it's not butting in, it's just interjecting.
Yes. Feel
Not
free to
interrupting, not butting in, just interject.
feel free to interject. Feel free to interject. Absolutely. Okay. So you want to read, commit to an attitude of radical self-honesty.
All right. Well, the opposite of honesty is denial. And denial is a very strong device for ego self-protection. We use denial for concealment all the time, whether we realize it or not, whether or not we realize it. We deny that we are made only of love, then look to the world to fill the void we feel inside. We get upset because we feel judged by another person. If we were honest, we'd have to admit that we judged them first. And hey, we'd rather deny that. We have frequent thoughts of fear, but we deny that they are there by quickly distracting ourselves. Take, for instance, that momentary flash of satisfaction that you may feel when you learn you are better off than someone you regard as a rival. Although this may be hard to admit, if you look closely, chances are you will notice an occasional tiny ego thought along these lines. Feeling satisfaction at someone else's struggle is not a socially acceptable feeling, so we quickly deny it. Yet denying it is not going to get rid of it. This judgment or scrap of fear needs to be looked at and undone. So we go into the text, chapter 4 of A Course in Miracles, section 3, paragraph 7. You retain thousands of little scraps of fear that prevent the Holy One from entering. Light cannot penetrate through the walls you make to block it, and it is forever unwilling to destroy what you have made. Watch your mind for the scraps of fear, or you will be unable to ask me to do so. Wow, I've never heard about scraps of fears. I don't remember ever hearing that.
Well, it's a great analogy, but you get this feeling of memories that are rotting once.
Wow.
You know, they're darkened, and they haven't been taken care of. They're just in there in the basement. You know,
Yeah.
tucked away, not looked at, not dealt with. And
Wow.
then there's little packages of fear. But no, I can't look at that. I can't look at that. I can't look at that. And all they have to do is be seen for what they are. Packages of nothing.
Wow.
And you know,
well, I go back to the whole idea of if I'm not thinking thoughts with God, my mind is actually blank.
yes.
And that blows this mind, because when I say that, even I just said that, and it's like it blows something up.
So it really is. It's just wild. Maybe that most of the time our mind is blank.
Yeah.
Because most of the time we're in our minds. And, you know, when I'm walking down the street now, I can't walk down the street and think at the same time as Joe. If I'm in my mind walking down the street, I slow down.
Ah.
So I can't. I have to have my mind filled. You know, with the thoughts. Better off having my mind filled with the thoughts of God and living in the present moment as much as possible. And when I'm walking, because otherwise I'll eventually just stop.
Yeah.
The more I'm moving into nothingness. The nothingness of the illusion. The more I'm deeper into the illusion, but the more the slower I start to walk. So usually I used to always, you walk down the street, that's when I'm walking, you imagine things in your head. I used to always do that.
Yeah.
But now I have to just keep my focus on everything around me.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. And so I have much of a choice if I want to get where I'm going.
I hear you. I know I can appreciate that, because even taking a shower would be a place where, boy, I would just go into full rate stories about things that happened, things that didn't happen. But now I can really be in the shower. It's quite lovely to just be in the shower without having all these frickin' things going on. By the time I finish the shower, I'm like, how'd my hair get washed? Like there was no in the moment time, but that's changing. So that's very good insight. Thank you for letting me see that.
Sure.
That's beautiful. Yeah, walking down the street too, just really being present with everything, especially now with the new season. Like we just had some sunny days and then a bit of rain, and everything in our yard is just vibrant green. The trees seem to have grown like 3 feet all around. Like it's just, wow. You really can notice. I can literally see things growing in front of me. You know, it's beautiful.
And they see you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. Beautiful. Cindy raised her hand. Come on up.
I think the reason behind when we're not when our thoughts are not with God, we're our thoughts or we're thinking of nothing. It's because what this dream is nothing. This world is nothing. So really, we're not thinking what our whole life, my whole life, when I'm not thinking of God, there's nothing here to think about because it doesn't exist. Anyway, I just want to throw that in.
Absolutely right. This is a dream that we're having, but we're not even here. We're somewhere, and as that dream, we're not here at all. We're somewhere else, and do we don't know where we are. So we say in the dream until we find out. Karen,
Yeah, thank you guys. What a great conversation. I love this. And I want to say I agree with Cindy. And just to add to that, what I'm learning in the course is when I'm not thinking with God, okay, I'm separated. I'm not in the mind of God. So I'm feeling that separation because we are a thought in the mind of God. And if I'm not thinking with God, I'm separated from God and I'm in ego. Basically just what Cindy said, but there's another quote in lesson 93 in the third paragraph where he says that thoughts that are not according to God's will, he does not share. This is enough to prove they are wrong. So I just love that. It's like, so I know when I'm out of my right mind, I'm literally out of my mind. I am not thinking with God. And that's like half of the day or more. So thanks.
It's awesome. Half a day or more. It takes a lot to admit that most of us spend a lot of time in our ego, as opposed to yeah, And then, Cindy, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, somewhere it says, your truth. These are not your real thoughts. Your true thoughts are with God. That always perplexed me, but now I can understand it now. But um, I would say to myself, well, how does he know that? Or, what? How can I know that these aren't my true thoughts? Anyway, but that I don't know what part that's in, but anyway, I don't want to confuse the matter. Stop.
The course has a very how you put it, a sense that you'll know what you can't believe now. By the time you're done with the course, you'll be able to accept it. There's a lot of that feel to it. So as you do the course, whether it be over and over again, or you read it, you reread it, you reread it, you reread it, stuff that you don't get, you'll see stuff again, and you'll see stuff new, and eventually you get it, and you get it every year, and then every year you get more, you get more, you get more, you get more. And Jesus has this way of saying, at one point he says that you let go of the good and the bad. You might not think now that the good is really not good, but you will eventually. And I won't leave you in the darkness. This is another point, but you might not know that. You might be terrified. I won't leave you terrified. So there's a sense that he's saying, trust me, basically. This says I get to trust you. You have to trust Jesus, basically. And then he'll tell you what you need to know when you need to know it. Which seems like will happen with you anyhow. Lynn? Cynthia, do you want something else?
Um,
No.
okay, yeah, yeah, this is also very true. And what it is this is gonna sound insulting to some people, but you know what? It's going to go on without you, with or without you. It's going to happen with or without you being involved. So if you're in the shower and are, come out clean, and you haven't paid any attention to how you happen to get that way, that happens to me because I'm like, uh, the shower is a great place for me to meditate, standing under the water. It really opens me up to be connected to the Holy Spirit. but it could be anything. If you don't have to pay attention to it, we don't have to pay attention to it because our assistance is not necessary for the dream to continue on.
No, it's
And
not.
so we can just listen for the voice for God. And, part of it is recognizing this is none of my business what's happening here. It's not for me to do anything about, it's just for me to be here and to be truly helpful in whatever capacity I can be. But, let the Holy Spirit take care of the world. And, I just want to hear, I just want to know the truth. So thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, I totally do what you're saying. It's not, nothing is our business. Thoughts, I see them, they kind of just go by. And then we say, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. The body also, it's just here. It's not who I am. And it's just, I seem to have been assigned to it. But it's not who I am. And it's gonna die, but it's gonna disappear one day, but I'm gonna also be around. I'll still be here. I'll always be here. And so in a sense that my body's not my business either. And I'm not in control of it, so I can release the body, I can release everything, you know. All right, so Audie, what you got? Anything for us?
Yeah. If we don't honestly acknowledge
Oh,
the
okay.
dark spots, yeah, to keep going. That was
Yeah.
great sharing, everybody. Thank you. If we don't honestly acknowledge the dark spots in our own minds, they are not going to be transformed and healed. Here's another quote. Do not leave any spot of pain hidden from his light, and search your minds carefully for any thoughts which you may fear to uncover. We need to be completely and impeccably honest with ourselves and with our inner therapist if we're serious about finding peace that lasts. I love the word impeccable. It
Yeah.
makes me think of Don Miguel Ruiz and the Four Agreements. Always do your best. Don't take things personally. Be impeccable with your word, and I forget the fourth one. Don't make assumptions. Those are the Four Agreements. So being impeccable with your word, I remember when I first read that, I had to look up that word.
And what was the definition? I mean,
Well,
I have my definition for it, but I'm sure it's not exactly right. But I say impeccable means to be perfect, basically. Be absolutely perfect, absolutely almost too perfect almost. Just logical, rational, perfect.
Yeah. Here's the definition.
Oh, the highest
in accordance
standards.
with the highest standards, faultless, rare, not liable to sin. How's that? Because look at that. It's what is sin? There is no sin.
Well,
so
we're
not
liable to the belief in sin.
Not liable to sin, impeccable. Wow.
Yeah. So for our purposes, impeccable is not reliable to the belief in sin or the belief in physicality as being real, and the liable to the belief, not liable to the ego. Yeah.
Not to sin. Wow. It's all about the word sin, impeccable. I didn't even know that. Wow.
We need to be completely and impeccably honest. Wow, we have to be so honest. We can make one mistake perfectly. It's funny.
Wow.
I wonder how she used it. She used it. No, matter. She just used it as how people use it constantly, as opposed to dealing. Yeah. All right, go on. Anything else you want to say about that?
No, I just think that's beautiful because it's all about how, we perceive we're in this sinful world, but that's just not it. And that word is just fully loaded. You're impeccable with your word.
Yes.
You're, you I have to really clean my words up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, wow, okay, that's amazing. This means being totally honest about the ugly, socially unacceptable thoughts that zip through our minds, even if they last only a split second. Did you know that? I didn't know I had to clean up the thoughts that just zip through my mind.
Well, the smallest amount of negativity is, of course, is the same thing as the mammoth amount. Look at it this way. I heard an analogy, and this is kind of straight. You say ew afterwards, but you have a glass of water, right? And you push a little bit of poop, a little dirt in the water. You drink that water, is it clean?
No, you're
No,
right.
yeah,
My birds fly over and poop in it. I'm not gonna eat it.
yeah, but why? It's still mostly water.
No.
Yeah, so that's what people that's what it says. The goal is not, and there is a certifying peace is the last. Socially, that's well. Even if they, luckily, I was going to say, whatever you just read, that's so. This means being totally honest, but honest little thoughts. This is oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So the small little thoughts that we have to get rid of for we want to see and take a look at and see for what they are just as disgusting as that little dirt
Yeah,
in their mind, which is the water.
that's a really good analogy, especially for me with having 3 birds.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
They go to their
wow,
house.
I got
Yeah.
a lot of cleaning to do
Mhm.
with my mind. I'm
Yeah,
talking.
I know.
Oh boy, that was good, Revwayne. Thank you. And
Yeah.
this is a good next sentence. The goal is not to stop having negative thoughts,
Right.
which is good to see that. But I didn't realize that these split-second thoughts. I thought, if they're floating along on the clouds, just let them be, float away. But that's kind of avoiding them and sort of shooing them away on the cloud, right?
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends. I mean, I do this. I do it sometimes if you're in a bind, you can release them. They'll come back if you have to deal with, you have to deal with. I mean, eventually, if you're dealing with your little scraps of pain and suffering, all this kind of, if you deal with this stuff, then you'll be able to spontaneously deal with anything that comes up and your feelings and anything that come up, you'll be able to spontaneously deal with those pretty easily. And then this won't even be a problem. You know. You don't need to think of your thoughts before is that what you just read?
Yeah, the goal is here.
Oh yeah.
Finish this up here.
You don't have you don't have some negative thoughts. Yeah, because the negative thoughts you want to take a look at your negative thoughts. All the negatives. Take a look at them. And let them be. Let them scream. Let them scream. Let them yap. Let them do the thing. You don't have they can't hurt you as long as you keep them all there. As long as you let them expand in your mind. What they want to do, because you are not the thoughts. You are not any of those thoughts. You're not good or bad. You transcend it all. And then if you start doing that and you detach yourself from it, even if it happens to someone like you said like the balloon, then you take a look at some more. And, God didn't make that, so it's not real. You're loosening up. You want to loosen up. You want to let go of some of that charge. Now you can look at it, and you say, "All right, now that's not real. Now let's charge. Let's charge. Let's charge." And eventually, it's all just one giant pleasurable experience. And if you can get yourself laughing, laughter is the key. If you can get yourself laughing, then you're good to go. Remember, your memory is just a giant should be at best a giant amusement. I mean, a giant what do they call it? A video picture album.
Ah, nice.
That you don't use for judgment, you just use for joy. And you can't, if you have a picture album, you don't have certain pictures you can't look at. You don't have a page. Oh, don't look at that page. Just that's too depressing for me. That page. You look at everything.
Yeah, look at everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I'll finish this paragraph here.
okay, yeah.
The goal is not to stop having negative thoughts. It's to have none that we would keep from sharing with our inner therapist. Wow, that's beautiful. Have none that we would keep from sharing with our inner therapist.
And what can you not share with them?
Yeah.
What's
You do not need to clean up your thoughts before sharing them. Instead, you are being asked to bring them down and dirty to the light of your inner therapist to allow it to do its job of exchanging your false perceptions for loving perceptions.
right?
Ah.
That's it. Jesus is our defense attorney. He defends us no matter what.
Yeah, I love
And,
that.
yeah, what you do, he's there. He's not the prosecutor, but he just defense attorney. And I think we probably say one more paragraph, right?
Yeah,
And then we're done with this
If-
section.
if you are anxious, depressed, or troubled in any way, admit it. If you're feeling judgmental, own it. Don't turn away from these feelings. These are red flags signaling that it's time to work, not cues to avoid them, procrastinate, or distract yourself. The most important indicator of how you are doing is how you feel. If you feel anything but pure joy, the ego is at the wheel, driving your car.
Excellent. And then that's where we get to an action step recap.
Okay, we can do that next week. Sounds
Yeah,
good?
yeah, that sounds
Wow.
good.
All right. I'm
It's
going to
kinda
put a
cool.
bookmark here.
Yeah, and then I'll leave it with one quick thing is that the feelings, they can either be expressed, repressed, or experienced.
Hmm.
You don't want to repress it because that's the various nature of good therapy that you don't repress it, and we don't. Not everyone wants to be expressed on either. Sometimes it's not very good for friends and family. So experience it. Let it be there. You know what I mean? Let the feeling just be there. Don't yell at somebody. Yell at somebody. You try to get rid of the feeling. Let the feeling be there, and then eventually just dissolve. As I've do many times, be a target for the feeling. You know what I mean? And you'd be surprised how invulnerable we really are. And our feelings just come and go because that's what they are. The clouds. All right, so just, thanks for coming by, everyone. Thanks for being here. Audsie, you're wonderful as usual. And Lynn, Dove, Karen, thanks so much. Cindy, sweet, you're always a pleasure. And anyone in the room, thanks very much for being here. And I'll be back on Thursday at either noon or 12:30. I'm not exactly sure what we decided upon. So until then, peace.
All right, you guys, thank you both so very much. And thanks everyone for sharing. I'm going to play a little song, today's lesson, which is the answer to all the questions that we have. So let's take a listen to I Walk with God in Perfect Holiness.
Presence is so holy that the world is sanctified. Because of you, all things that live bring gifts to you and offer them in gratitude and gladness at your feet. The scent of flowers is their gift to you. The waves bow down before you, and the trees extend their arms to shield you from the heat. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world, I light my mind, and all the minds which God created, one with me. The light in you is what the universe longs to behold. All living things are still before you, for they recognize who walks with you. As you step back, the light in you steps forward and encompasses the world. It heralds not the end of sin in punishment and death, 'cause in lightness and in laughter it is gone. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world, I light my mind, and all the minds which God created, one. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world, I light my mind, and all the minds which God created, one with me. Who walks with me? Who walks with me? Yeah, yeah. Who walks with me? Who walks with me? Who walks with me? Who walks with
Thanks you all so much, and we will see you tonight. I don't know what our topic's going to be, but we'll be here.
Now you